Hello, everyone. This is Rick, and welcome to Astral Club. This is a personal astral healing, and let's get right into it. My wife, Lynn, was recently diagnosed with a disease that affects far too many women, even today in our modern world and modern medicine. And anyone who's ever gone through a health crisis of any sort will be familiar on some level with the stages of grief that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross came up with. You may have heard of her. She worked with dying patients in hospice, and she noticed that there was 5 basic stages. Now, this is somewhat simplified, but I find it to be fairly accurate. 5 basic stages of grief when someone is going through a tragedy of some sort. Certainly, a disease diagnosis is one of those types of instances where the stages of grief can be triggered, not only by the individual sufferer, but by those who love them. The stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, followed by eventual acceptance. And after this diagnosis, um, my wife certainly went through those stages, as did I. We did it at different stages because different personalities process um, grief in different ways. Now, she has an excellent prognosis. But, I started feeling some kind of way. I have allies on, the astral plane, my angel guide and others. And at one point, I started feeling angry. For instance, why did they let this happen? Why didn't they, you know, aid my loved one and prevent this type of situation? Um, so I actually traveled and sat down and had a meeting with my astral guide, my angel, and um, he was very serious, and I looked a little angry, I'm sure, and I told him what he already knew, that my wife had been diagnosed with this particular disease, and and that I was, feeling a little salty about the fact that why wasn't I given some heads up? Why was this allowed to happen? I mean, what are these allies for? I can help others, but I can't be helped. He let me talk it out, and I kind of vented, and he allowed me to do that. And then he allowed some time to pass. I calmed down a bit, and he said, "What makes you think that your wife has not been aided?" I said, "Well, she has this disease. It's been diagnosed. What could you have done?" He said, "Didn't she go to the doctor? And she got this test done that she prompted, and she actually selected a newer procedure that's much more comprehensive in detection of disease. And she elected for that. And as such, this disease was detected in literally the earliest possible detectable stage. So early, in fact, that she'll be operated on, but it will be an outpatient procedure. She'll spend about an hour being operated on, another hour and a half in recovery, and then I'll be able to take her home. Now, she'll have some treatments for a number of days after that, and she'll have to be on some medication for a number of years, and she'll have to go for regular checkups to make sure that the disease did not show itself again. But it was detected very early, and as such, she has the most excellent prognosis that you can possibly have in this type of a situation. I thought about that, and my anger certainly subsided quite a bit. And I said, well, but still, isn't there some way that you could, you know, just make it go away? Just and he said there are certain plans that are in place that we have guidelines that we can operate within, but we can't just violate those plans completely. We can there are areas that we can assist, and that's where we assisted. And your wife Lynn is going to be fine, and she's going to live for many years after going through this experience. I thought about that, got very thoughtful for a bit, and I understood where he was coming from. I mean, after all, the world is the world. Lessons are lessons. There is an intricate plan out there somewhere that we're not party to. Luckily, I have allies here, and they assisted in the best way that was open to them. And I think in a larger sense, that's also a lesson that I can learn, and that others might benefit from as well. Understanding that we ask for help, and when we ask for help and we ask for it selflessly, that help will happen, but it won't necessarily happen in just the way we want it to happen, because there is this other intricate matrix out there somewhere that connects all of us in some gigantic play production. We have our parts to play in it, and there's wiggle room in those parts, but it's not always possible to completely cut out a part of a scene that you'd rather not have to act within. At any rate, my wife Lynn is extremely upbeat. She's a naturally positive person, and I'm certainly feeling better as well. I have done everything that I can and will continue to do to assist her in this process, because I love her, and we've been married for over 30 years, and we take care of one another. That's what we do. If you are someone who would like to pray or to send energy to my wife, Lynn, I would very much appreciate it if you feel moved to do so. This is Rick, and if you'd like to, like or subscribe or any of that stuff, or you want to leave some comments, some well wishes or whatever in the comments, that would be very welcome. I'd certainly pass that on. And as always, this is Rick, and I will see you on the astral plane.